Welcome back, Founding Champions, and today I have for you a deck list. So, Founding Champions, check this out. I have a Death Good Stuff deck. Good stuff. The reason why I decided to build this deck is I think Death, like some kind of turbo rotation deck, can be good, and I think that there are some good cards in Death. We just need to figure out the best way to apply these cards. So without further ado, Death Good Stuff. It reminds me of the rock kind of deck. You know, those kind of black-green decks from Magic the Gathering, but that's just what it kind of reminds me of. So let's get back to it. First up we have Barrows White Knight. The reason why I think this card is worth to play in this deck is because he's a turbo rotation card. You're going to go ahead and play any Risen unit here, then the same turn try and play an ability. That Risen unit's going to do damage, then you're just going to go and play any other Risen, and then that's pretty much that. This guy here, you're playing with Crypt Hunter or Freakish Crypt Horror, and the Freakish Crypt Horror will activate all three of these objectives. Then you sort of at the end just play that one last Mordant. Same thing with this guy here. 4 costs to give you 2 extra health at the beginning of the game. It's pretty good in my opinion. And this guy here, pretty easy. You play 3 guys. Just play 3 guys and make that last guy a guy that can do damage, and then you will activate this last corner. And that is that. Super easy. Not too much tactics involved. Just play a guy. Also, Heroic Act. Being able to ping your opponent every single turn when you're playing against a control matchup. So in a control deck, like a lot of I guess the most dedicated control deck in this game right now, even though it's kind of hard to even say anything's a control deck in this game because it's so tempo oriented, is the Death Control. Just Death players trying to gain lots of life and grind you out and win by deck out. To win by deck out, not only do you have to run out of cards, but then you have to run out of actions. Basically, you can't play any more cards. So you have to start discarding cards from your hand, discard cards from the field, flipping over blessings, etc. Well, you can completely slow that down by just every turn pinging them for 1. So it's a sort of, an anti-control, mix-up, and also being able to gain life like this every turn against control is pretty good because they can't do too many big swings on you. So we don't have to worry about a control matchup. So let's just completely write that off. Because of these champions, we just don't need to worry about that anymore. And in the sideboard, we could even have more options. So what's the big issue that we have to fight against is decks like Chaos Turbo Rotation. Because they nerfed Destruction a little bit, but still, Destruction is an issue. But for right now, Chaos Turbo Rotation is a huge issue for this deck. Because they have those blessings that just have, are force multipliers, just 3 extra damage, outrageous, battle lust, whatever it's called, just really, really good damage output. And that's why Death does have a harder time against that deck. For the blessings for this deck, we have Supernatural Horror, one of the best blessings I think in the game. Shuts down people's decks. We're going to have Turmoil of Souls, slows them down by getting 2 cards out and beats them down by 4. Then we have Morbid Terror. We're going to beat them down by 5 over time. They're going to lose 3 cards from their hand. It's pretty good once you both are, playing 2 cards from your hand, drawing 2 cards, and near the end of the game. And then Carrion Feast. It's a 10-point swing. Or, excuse me, it's not a 10-point swing. It's a 14-point swing. So you're going to gain 7. They're going to take 7. You don't need to draw actions and then use an action to play that card. Use actions to draw cards. So you just straight up 6-point swing right away. 4-point swing, 4-point swing. Now for the good stuff, it is a mix of all 3 factions. The Mordant, the Risen, and the Vampire. It's just that we have 3 very unfleshed out, sort of tribes. So we're just mixing all the good stuff of each of those. So we have 3 Feasting Vargheists. I'm going to put that up here. Move these further back. 3 Feasting Vargheists, 3 Frenzied Vargheists to continue on with the vampires, and 3 Murdering Vargheists. Does the average 5 damage, but the first corner does 2 damage, which is pretty good. Then we have 3 Fearsome Crypt Flayers. Put that right here. 3 Ravenous Crypt Ghouls. One of my favorite cards. Whoops. 3 Freakish Crypt Horrors. Outstanding card. Does the combo with Crypt Hunter Courtier. And then here for the Risen units, we have 3 Crypt Shield Black Knights. This card doesn't see much play, and the reason why I like it is because damage reduction is a force multiplier or a force demultiplier. So you can technically reduce 1 damage in each of these 3 lanes. So that would be a 5-point swing, reducing 3 damage in each of these lanes, 2 damage. But that's over 2 turns, so you could reduce up to 6 damage and then do 2 damage. So it's got a pretty high end, and its low end can be pretty small, especially if you're not reducing any. But you just wouldn't play it if you're not going to reduce anything. And then we have 3 Charging Black Knights. It's good with the Barrows White Knight because you'll play him, play an ability, and that guy will do damage. But so will Crypt Shield Black Knight. And then we have, for our abilities, 3 Frightful Strikes. You can use the other damage ability that rotates enemy units forward or backwards, but I do like being able to slow them down, our opponent down. We're having that option at least. And then 3 Devours. Alright. Because it's a staple card, pretty staple. So this is it's nothing really too exciting like every rock deck. It's just not very exciting. But it does grind our opponent out. We gain life while reducing theirs at the same time. We're not taking any large hits, or not hitting them for very much all at once. But we can keep ourselves alive. This guy, he rotates quickly. He does have an effect. He gains you 1 life too at the beginning of the game. So we are starting off at 35 life. So our opponent's got to take us all the way down from that maximum. And you know, it's just it feels good to start off with more life than your opponent. And you know, their first like 1 or 2 cards they play just gets you to par. Doesn't really actually get you any lower than themselves. So it's just a really good mix of cards. I'm trying to make it good. I'm trying to tweak the numbers and such, but this is what I have. I've been playing this for a few days, just on and off on casual mode. So I think, you know, it might be a time to take it to ranked, or if you can try it out, see what you think, put it together. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you would put in, what you would take out. And guys, don't forget, we are the 5th Grand Alliance, and I hope you have an amazing day.